everyone. So today is another chair yoga class, and the focus today is about releasing tension. And the tense areas that we're looking at, or there might be a tense area, is somewhere around the areas around the face. The jaw is the most obvious, but we often hold tension maybe in the head, around the lips as well, and the eyes, and the throat and the neck. Shoulders most people recognise, but these other areas around the face are more difficult to spot. But they're all linked, the shoulders and the throat and the eyes, and all this area if one area is tense, it tends to reflect on areas further down the body or further up in the body. So we're going to focus a little bit on this idea of releasing tension, particularly in the upper body, but we will do some generic work on the whole body, and we'll also do a little bit on ankles and hips, so that we don't just completely work on the upper body. But part of the reason I'm looking at the release of tension is this idea that our current experience, it's not necessarily that dissimilar to everyday experience, but particularly now maybe that there's still fear around, there's still a sense of loss for people, and those experiences tend to create a tension in the body and a lack of ease, and maybe over-mulling ideas and things in our head. So that's tiring in itself when we keep going round and round with issues that maybe we can't even control. Often the issues we can't even do anything about, but they're kind of part of our life that might get in the way and make us feel less comfortable in our skin, less connected to both ourselves and the outside world. And the outside world at the moment is in terms of the nature and the springtime in the UK, is pretty exceptional, really. We don't normally have this dry weather for such a long period. We don't normally have so many sunny days. We don't have, not all of us, but some of us have a bit more opportunity to be outdoors if we can find a safe way of doing that. So there's lots to think about. At the same time, as I say, there's this tension around potentially for a number of us. So what we're going to start with is just waking up the body and just having a sense of the whole body, particularly the limbs connected to the centre of the body. So we're going to start with tapping exercise that many of you are familiar with. So just extending one arm in front of you, and I've got the palm facing down. I'm just going to use my other arm to start at the shoulder and to tap with my fingers down the top of the arm. Turn the palm upwards and then tap. And again, just changing over. You find the speed, you find the right amount of pressure. You need to take the arm lower down so it's not such a strain in the shoulder or the neck or the joints. If you need to bend the elbow, if that feels more comfortable for the shoulder, then that's what you do. But effectively, there's just a gentle tapping to awaken a little bit the internal sensations of the arm. So again, you may be mainly tapping skin rather than clothing. So that's a real opportunity to sort of feel, how's the skin feel? What's the contact? What's the warmth? How's that feel, that connection between the fingers and the softer areas of the body and the harder areas of the body, the bones, the muscles, the tendons, wherever we find ourselves in contact with. And then just rest the arm down. Relax the whole body if you can. And just see get a sense of the aliveness of the arm that you were tapping, particularly that side compared to the other side. And how that feels, and maybe the connection between the arm and the inside of the torso, the inside of the chest, and the connection with the shoulder maybe, and the upper back and the shoulder area. Okay, so we'll do the other arm. So just taking the other arm out in front of you and tapping down the top of the arm, and then palm up and the other side. and just finding a way to gently awaken. So this can still be done with a gentle arm. Doesn't have to be overly tense, the arm that you tap in. So part of this is trying to relax the arm as well as warm connect, get the internal workings and feeling more alive. So this kind of touching is a bit like we feel when we get water coming through the shower, or when we bathe ourselves, or when we're in a pool or in a lake, or whatever we do in terms of having contact with water. Okay, and then relax both arms. So also once we let go of the holding of the arms and tapping, the shoulders might feel like they can release a little bit more. So being aware where the shoulders are in relationship to the ears and how the sides of the neck feel from that movement. Okay, so we do a little bit of kind of connection of arms, limbs into the center of the torso. That connection, there's a whole set of support muscles and tissue around the arms. But often we can feel the arms like they come to here, and then there's the center of the body, where actually everything is interconnected. And the more we kind of draw on a range of muscular support, the more we're able to keep our bones healthy, really. That's one thing, one aspect to it. So we're going to tap the outside of the legs. So we're going to tap from the side of the bottom where the hip points, and tap in both sides, outsides of the legs. If you're comfortable bending forward, then you bend forward as you get to the knee and start coming down the sides of the calves, all the way down to the ankle bone, if that's accessible. If you're comfortable coming up the inside, then come up the inside, otherwise just retrace your steps. So inside the calf, inside the knee, slightly inside the thighs. Just check everything's okay in terms of the back doing that, and shoulders and the hips. And if you feel happy, then you go down 2 more times. And you way all the way down, tap in, you choose how much contact, how much pressure is given. So going down in your own time. I'm going down the 3rd time now. And just working your way back up. Once you get to the top, then just having a little bit more pressure on the inside of the top of the leg, quad muscles. And if you can access a little bit, it might be a bit more difficult accessing the hamstrings and the lower thighs, the back of the thighs. And again, settle, let the arms settle, let the elbows relax, let the wrists and the fingers relax. Using the fingers, that's woken up the hands and the joints in the fingers, and maybe the joints in the wrists. So maybe you can feel that kind of sensation, vibration, warmth, tingliness in a positive way. However you kind of make sense of that experience, just really experience the internal sense of the body. Can you feel the arms connected into the shoulders still, and into the centre of the body? Can you feel the legs connected a little bit more into the front of the body and the back of the body? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so we'll just rock from side to side, just as another reminder of our connection. So we're kind of rocking on our sitting bones. Going from one side of the butt to the other side of the butt. So we just gently find a way to sway from side to side. Okay, and then just soften again and settle. And again, that might create a little bit more of that connection between the bottom and the legs, maybe the front of the body and the centre. So feeling the arms and feeling the legs, and feeling some of the centre of the body that you can feel, so the back against the chair. You feel the breath in the body. You might even notice, as you notice the breath in the body, that there's almost like a feeding down into the limbs, feeding out into the arms. But it might be a little bit more subtle. It might not be available, that kind of sensation for everybody. Don't worry if you can't feel it. Just get a sense of the breath wherever you get a sense of the breath in the centre of the body. Okay, so fingers can now make contact with the chest, up to the collarbones, and just waken that area softly, softly, but we know the heart and the lungs are well protected, but they're underneath the basket of the rib cage, if you like. And then maybe find one point just below the collarbone, give it a little bit more of a tap, and see if you can feel that vibration inside the body. How that feels, if it feels good. So you have to find the right rhythm and the right pressure for you. It just feels like you're awakening a little bit and you're releasing a little bit. So we're still focusing on this idea that we can relieve tension through contacting our own body and just making simple movements to enliven in order to release. Okay. And can have a rest. So just enjoying that sense of the body, maybe feeling a little bit more awake. Okay, so we're going on to the headspace now. So we've kind of done arms, legs, had a little bit of a sense of internal body, maybe the breath in the belly, and a little bit of contact with the hand on the front of the chest. We felt the back against the chair, felt the bottom against the chair as we move from side to side. So just concentrating in this area that I said we're going to do a little bit more focus on this time. So we're going to initially just take hands and just do a little bit of tapping on the skull, on the scalp. So we've all got different hairdos at the moment. Mine's getting a little bit out of hand, have good days and really, really beautiful days. But there you go, worse things happen. Okay, so just any speed, any sense of how could I awaken the skull, the brain, and awaken a little bit more. So again, it's like standing under the shower maybe, and you're feeling the raindrops, or you're feeling the raindrops outdoors on your head. But sometimes it can be really nice and refreshing, and obviously other times is something to where we feel a bit uncomfortable if we're cold. So just awakening the whole of the skull, and as I say, the scalp, wherever you can access, and then just let the shoulders relax down again. So that might be hard for the shoulders or the fingers or the wrists. So really let a sense of the shoulders and back area, just let it kind of feel like the skin's just waterfalling slightly down the back. So that you're not holding up too much, you're actually letting the shoulders relax down and back. Okay, another bit of a sigh. Okay, so a little bit more onto facial kind of massage and just see how we can work with loosening and letting go a little bit here. So fingertips around, doing little really soft mini circles somewhere above the eyebrows, so disappearing. So just, and we're going to carry on doing those little circles. I'm using my forefinger and my middle finger. And then moving out slightly to the edges of your forehead, where it kind of connects with the hairline maybe. Side. And taking the fingers and going a little bit lower, temples, it's like a softer area. And really be gentle with yourself, and you're loosening the skin in order to loosen underneath any tightness that's gone around the eyes, around the temples, around the forehead. And a little bit lower, so there's a bony bit that you might find here. So just working around the bony bit in the side of the skull and the link with the jaw. And going a little bit lower, it might be softer. We've all got different structures around here. So you might be on a hard bit, might be on a soft bit. It might feel really easy to move the skin on the side of the face. It might feel a bit taut or tight or uncomfortable. So just go what feels okay. We're working our way down to the side of the lips, or even just below the lips, and on the side of the chin. I've got a big chin, so this takes me a bit longer than most of you. Okay, and then maybe with one hand just doing the chin. I feel a bit weird. Really softening if you can, including the lips. Go the other way on the chin if you can. So the jaw slightly separated. Okay, and then below the eyes, so if you can kind of feel the sort of the eye sockets below, it makes your eyes do a little bit strange things. So maybe looking down is more comfortable. A little bit higher if you're comfortable. Do it around the eyes. Take care there. And even under the lids, just a little bit, that's tricky. So just really, really softly, just tops of the sockets we really are, yeah. Above the eyelids, below the eyebrows, and just relax, make sure your eyes are okay. So just looking into the distance, within your room, within your space, or even outdoors. So you get a slightly bigger view for the moment. And then start to create almost like the view's just going into a little bit of fuzziness, so that you're not trying to focus anywhere. You're trying to let the focus dissipate or diffuse a little bit, so that you're actually not focused on anything, but you can see to the sides of you a little bit, you can see the front of you a little bit, but there's no real focus. You're just defocusing for a moment. And then just look down towards the floor, maybe take the chin slightly in towards the chest. And then just take the head slightly up and look towards the ceiling. And then just look back straight ahead. And then take the eyes to the right, take the head to the right. Softly as you can. And come back to center. And take the chin to the left, head to the left, and the eyes go with it. Really softly letting the neck and the shoulders release, coming back to center. So as long as this, just see if this feels okay. It's a bit of a strange thing to do. So if you take the head over to your right, just look to the left. And then as you take your head back to the opposite direction, take your eyes in the opposite directions. So I'm taking my head to the left and my eyes to the right. Sort of slows things up a bit. And then just come back to center. And just do a yawn if you can. So maybe just cover your mouth if you don't want me to see you. I can't see you, can. So just do a yawn. So I'll cover my mouth, not pretty side. Yeah, a big yawn, do a bit of a swallow to relax the back of the tongue. And just notice you swallow, just swallow once more and just see how that kind of feels as it goes down the throat. And almost like you can feel it in the chest or, internally. Just be aware of, it's not really, it creates a whole chain of events down internally, down the esophagus. So just noticing that. Okay, so we're just going to go to shoulders a little bit more. So I'm taking my shoulders slightly up towards my ears and I'm bringing them down really slowly. And then I'm really letting them release. For me, I've realised it's much easier if I just slightly take my back away from the chair. So I'm taking my shoulders up towards my ears. And then I'm letting them slowly drift down. But I'm kind of controlling them so I know where the tricky bits of release are. So there's a bit for me where it kind of gets a bit jumpy or it's not smooth. So we're looking for smooth descents. It doesn't matter about going up. We're tensing here effectively, and then we're trying to release and we're trying to find a way down with the most smoothness and ease and control. I just lost it there. I got a judder, another judder, and then really relax them. But Just take up one shoulder now, see how this shoulder is, and let's bring it down. Trying to iron out the judginess as much as you can. Relax and let go. Hold the shoulder goes up, and then let that come down, and relax and let go. And just see how you feel the space in the neck. I've got a very long neck really. So can you feel from your ears all the way down to kind of the bony bit or at the top of the clavicle, collarbone. Okay. So taking the arms out for a moment out to the side. If you came away from the back of the chair and you feel like you need that support, then please take it. And we've got palms facing out, so we're kind of doing an external rotation. So just notice what that feels like. Just come out of it for a moment and come back into it. So for me, there's a whole lengthening going on here. It's not just about me taking my hands out. And that means my shoulders are slightly rotated out. Well, not just slightly, actually. They are rotating out quite a bit. Okay, and then bring the backs of the hands more towards the sides of the legs. And that might feel really weird, but just notice what that does for the shoulders, the inner arms, and the chest. And then just see what it feels like to open out. So we could do breath work with this if you want to, and that feels easy. Otherwise, just keep the breath as soft as and smooth as you can. So it'd be an in-breath as the palms face outwards, and an out-breath as the backs of the hands come towards the sides of the thighs. So a little bit like we're trying to smooth out the bumpy ride of the shoulders down from the ears. We're trying to do the same here. So not over trying. I'm famous for my over trying. But just see if you can soften and release and unwind. You know, it's like very much an unwinding experience here. Okay, so we're going to add something in if you want to add something in. So if, as I open my palms back out, I look up and I open my jaw. And then I close my jaw and I bring my chin in as I bring the backs of the hands more towards the sides of the thighs and around the back as well. I'm opening up again, palms facing forward. I'm looking up, slight arch in my lower back. And I open my mouth and my jaw as I look up. But if the jaw issue doesn't feel comfortable, leave that out. Rounding the back slightly, so I bring my belly in to help the rounding at the back. Out breath helps there. In breath will help a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to do one strange thing, which I won't see you, but you're going to see me. So next time you open up and you open your jaw, see if you have to take the tongue out. And then bring the tongue in, close the jaw as you bring the chin in around your back. So taking care of that. See if that feels okay enough. One more time. Opening up, opening the jaw, taking the tongue out. And gently bringing the head back, the chin back, and just relaxing everything down. See how it feels at the back of the neck. So that kind of opening of the mouth and the sticking the tongue out is really kind of giving quite a big connection all the way down through. It may even affect the spine, to be honest. You know, the curliness of the back of the tail of the bone may increase with the opening of the throat, the opening of the jaw, and the tongue extending. Though it might just feel a little bit different in the mouth, in the back of the throat. So these are just things to try out. And if they don't feel comfortable in the neck, or they just feel disorientating, then leave them out or try them another time and just do it once and see how it feels. And you can always leave things out so that they feel safe or comfortable. Okay, so we're going to move into a little bit of a twisting movement. So we're going to take our left hand. No, we're not. we're going to take our right hand to our left shoulder, our right hand to our left shoulder, and we're going to take the left shoulder back and look behind the left shoulder. There's a little bit of that twist in the chair over to our left side. Come back into neutral, bring your head back into neutral. And same again, going back with the left shoulder and looking behind you, back into neutral. But just press down through both feet for a moment and feel the sitting bones, bring your belly in a little bit and have a sense of the head slightly extending up. You don't need to really rise out of the chair, that's me really rising out of the chair. But I just want to feel I've got a little bit of an uplift through the spine to help support the twist. A little bit of belly support if possible. But take an in-breath here. And on the out breath, again, returning to looking over our left shoulder, turning the left shoulder slightly. And for me, that means my right knee comes slightly forward to allow that to happen. Back into neutral. One more time, going back, looking over the left shoulder slightly goes back. And coming forward into neutral. Release the hand. Drop the chin towards the chest, round the back, let the head come down. And then just sit yourself back up into neutral. Again, bring the chin to the chest and let the back round as you let the head slightly come down through the weight of gravity. And gently get yourself back up to neutral. So we're going to do the other side. I haven't forgotten. I know I do, but I haven't. So I'm going to take my left hand to my right shoulder. And I'm going to press down a little bit through my sitting bones so I'm not collapsing. That's me collapsing. That's me giving a little bit of sense of energy through my sitting bones and through my spine. Sense of reaching all the way up through the spine to the crown of the head. Okay, so from here, take an in-breath. And with an out-breath, take the right shoulder back and look gently over that right shoulder without straining the neck. Come back into neutral, bring the head back into neutral. In-breath here. Out-breath, rotate. In-breath in center. Out breath, rotate to the right. And return. One more time. In breath and lengthen. Out breath and rotate round towards the right. And back to center. Release the hand. Take the chin towards the chest and round the back. If you're doing a forward roll, but just not going all the way down. Use your hands to get yourself back up into a safe place. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, relax the eyes and the eye sockets. Give the hands a little shake and the elbows a little shake and the shoulders a little bit of a shimmy. And let the breath just be, so you can have a little bit of a sigh if you wish to. Just relax and release. A little bit of a dancing movement to just loosen and relax everything. So these sort of shaky movements are good as well. So just relax and release. Okay, so we're just going to just do a few movements with the ankles and the hips, and then we'll leave it there for today. So again, let's just rock from side to side on our bottom. From one side of the book to the other side of the book, from one sitting bone to the other sitting bone. And the whole body comes in the movement, so the knees go over, the heels feel like they're moving, the pressure on the feet moves slightly. As we rock from side to side, but it's kind of like the whole body just rocks together rather than kind of weaving in and out. We can do that, nothing wrong with that. But for the moment, we're just trying to stay steady, just rock from side to side as a whole body movement. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so we come into a still place again. We can see feel maybe the hands weighted onto the lap. Okay, so just reaching 1 foot forwards. Yeah, just bouncing my toes, sorry. And then just doing a circle with the toes to loosen the ankles a little bit. And you're looking for smooth circuits rather than big movements. Often the smaller movement gets really, really deeply in and helps us just kind of hydrate, smooth, soften, work the ankle a little bit and just do the circling in the opposite direction. And then release the leg down. It's quite strong to keep the leg. It might create a little bit of tension or difficulty here, spasm or cramping here. So take care. If you need to just keep coming out of it earlier, do. Opposite foot forward, leg forward, and do some movement with the ankles. So I'll also feel in the top of the foot, the toes, all of the foot. So we're smoothing out other areas here. Make sure you go both ways with the circle, and it doesn't have to be a big circle. It will be clicky clunky for most of us. We're trying to smooth that out a little bit. So as I say, just make it smaller movements and back to the floor. So the legs will feel heavy now. Bottom might feel heavy on the chair, just from the work we've done there. Okay, so if you're comfortable, just pick up one knee and just interlock the fingers if that's okay. And it's just on the shin. So my arms are straight and I want my leg to feel heavy for the moment. Just release the hips a little bit more. As long as that's okay for fingers. So sometimes it hurts fingers or shoulders or wrists. So if it's too strong, just come out of it. Okay, if you can manage this. So I've got my, so we're working, whichever hand, obviously I didn't say which leg, so we're going to have to work this slightly differently than I envisaged. So I'm taking one hand away. So I've got my right leg, so I keep my right hand on the leg. I've released my left hand. I'm taking that leg slightly out to the side. It's still weighted, so I feel like I'm allowing my leg to be heavy. And I'm bringing it back. And I'm putting it down. Again, just maybe let the fingers play piano for a moment. Quite fast piano, I'm afraid. Just relax the wrists a little bit and the fingers. Just do a little bit with the wrists. Shake out maybe. If you can manage to go back to that kind of movement again for the body, then just let the go to your second leg. And in some ways, I quite like the shoulders being pulled forward and the back getting a little bit of lengthening of the back. So just notice if that's what you like. And I feel like my arms being pulled a little bit more. And as long as that feels safe and not troublesome or achy, then that's fine. So if you're getting an acute pain in the upper back, you need to come out of it. So this is my left leg, so I'm taking leave my left hand there. And I'm just going to then see if I can just let the leg drift out slightly to the side. If you need to hold on, going to fall off, and hold on to the chair. And again, you can let it be heavy. Bring it back to centre. And bring the legs back down. Reposition yourself if you've lost that sense of connection with the back of the chair. And feel the weight at the bottom, feel the weight of the feet, feel the weight of the hands, feel the release of the shoulders. And just seeing how settled you feel or not. Just let's take the head again over to one side, gently back to centre and over to the other side. And just bring the chin gently down towards the chest. If it's comfortable, look up and open the jaw again. And then bring the head back to centre. Just taking the fingers again just to the side, wherever you want around the jaw. To remind yourself of the ability to soften maybe the temples at the side of the eyes again. And relax the hands. If you need to do anything else to feel comfortable for the last few moments, please do. So we're just going to use a bit of visualization if it helps. Doesn't help everybody. So as we sit here, if you can find a positive image of water gently kind of flowing or trickling down from the head all the way down the body, front, back and sides, then use that image. It might be, an image if you've been under a shower, under a gentle waterfall, or whatever, in the rain on a hot day. It's been scorching, you go out, it starts to rain. Be really pleasant. So whatever feeling, if you feel like it's more, if you can get into that visualization best by closing your eyes, close your eyes, and feeling that sense of water just caressing the skin and awakening and enlivening you, refreshing you. So it's gently coming from the head, over the face, back of the head, down through the shoulders and the shoulder blades and down the back. The arms, down the front of the chest and the belly, down the back of the legs, front of the legs, down onto the feet. So the whole body is getting that sensation of refreshment. And just feeling how that makes you feel, about that connection. So nothing's happening, but you're using the visualization that some people find helpful. So the power of the mind, the power of the imagination is strong. Stories and the images that we create can be positive or can be negative. So see if this one helps you feel refreshed and supported. And a sense of letting go of any tension with that water as it traces its way down the skin and just wakens up and allows you to let go as it gives that sense of releasing the skin. So the second stage, if you can make a connection with this and if it feels helpful, might just stay with phase one, which is the water dripping down the skin. So the second stage is just to recognize that our inner body is very much a fluid body. And the inside, even the bones, hold a lot of moisture. But there's a hell of a lot of fluid inside there, in different forms, keeping us safe, well, healing us and protecting us and functioning. So being aware of a sense of a fluid body, a sense of that working of the blood system, and the things that are clearly fluid in the body and the things that are less clear, so the fluid in the joints, between the joints, synovial fluid, between all the joints in the hands and the hips and the knees and the ankles and the elbows and the shoulders. It's just allowing ourselves to move with greater ease. So it might not be as easy to imagine the blood functioning and the fluid down the spine and the different densities of water and fluid in the body, the organs, the body, brain, heart, liver, the lungs, the intestines, and the joints of the body. So we often see ourselves as a very rigid structure through the bones, but the bones, as I say, are full of lots of moisture. They're actually quite pliable, otherwise we'd snap a lot. Sometimes we do snap, but most of the time we don't. And all that connected tissue that weaves and wefts and like a spider's web just connects everything together. Our bones and our organs, our muscles, all get the connected tissue, the fascia just kind of binds its way around to safely protect and support the internal functioning of the body so we can potentially move with stability, with ease, with as much strength as we need to do what we need to do. So if you can feel the inside fluid body, the outside fluid of the water flowing over the body, and just see if that feels a comfortable visualization. If not, please just drift out of that and find something more pleasing for you, maybe just the sun on the skin, light in the room, or whatever you feel. I'm going to let that go into background now, so we're just going to feel the feet on the floor, hands on the lap again, the bottom on the chair, wherever the back touches the chair. Get a sense maybe of the top of the head and the soles of the feet, palms of the hands on the thighs, feet on the floor, or whatever support you've got for the feet, the bottom settling into the support of the chair. Feel the breath in the body, whether that's in the belly, in the chest, through the nostrils, whether you can feel it through the whole of the torso, whether you can even feel it through the whole of the body. That sensation of the breath doing what the breath needs to do to support you. And just taking a moment or two of really feeling the body, the whole body as much as possible, and a sense of the breathing body. Releasing, relaxing any tension that you find. The eyes and the throat, the jaw, shoulders, back, in the belly, in the hips, in the inner thighs, the soles of the feet or the palms of the hands. And if the eyes are closed, then gently opening the eyes, bringing the palms together and just rubbing the fingers against each other as a way of awakening. So the arms are moving, shoulders will get an impact. It's even making my head move from side to side. Okay, maybe just freshening up, if you're happy to do this, just freshening up the sides of the cheeks again, and the forehead, but this time with the palms of the hands, the back of the neck if that's accessible and comfortable. Back of the neck, again, forehead maybe again. And the cheeks, a bit of a shake out, a little bit of movement on the chair, wake the body back up, fluid body, your dancing body, your awakened body, your released body, shaking the legs if that's comfortable, might not be. One leg, the other leg. Okay, so we're going to finish there, so hopefully a little bit of tension maybe relieved, a little bit of refreshment, a little bit of movement. So doing the things that feed you, the things that support you, leaving out the things that don't feel right in your body, or working with them really, really incrementally. So you just try a little bit, they'll go full range, and then you kind of increase it. And things start, hopefully, you can add more things to your repertoire of movement. These are all really simple, hopefully, simple things that just make sure that we're mindful of our body. And we can take steps to change things within the body. We can't change the world at all, or have a minimal impact, but we can change how we feel, what we think, and how we connect with our whole sense of body. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be doing another chair video in a couple of weeks. So stay well, stay safe. Thank you for listening.